Welcome to Conspiracy in Real Time, the greatest show on earth. I am your medicated and totally unregulated host, Joshua Stonecutter. This is our one topic that we're going to talk about tonight or today. We're going to talk about movies and books and how they relate to portals. I went to go work today and it is miserable outside. I mean, it's just nasty out. So I worked for like 20 minutes because for me, getting up and going and showing up for work is like an accomplishment. I'm not, that's not to say it's difficult for me. Although there was a time very recently when it was difficult for me. I could barely even get out of bed, much less go like work with a bunch of strangers, you know? Anyways, I want you guys to think about the idea of thinking in concepts and not words, because the more I think about it, the more I dwell on it, the more I meditate on it. I'm of the opinion that the education system is meant to limit us. Okay? It's meant to educate us, right? Because they don't want a bunch of idiots walking around. You know what I'm saying? They don't want a bunch of people with elementary school educations or worse, wandering around. Everybody will be getting taken advantage of and devoured, literally, right? Because there's a lot of evidence pointing towards people being processed, right? Anyways, let me get back on topic. We're talking about movies, books, and relationship to the portals, right? Let's think about the Matrix, okay? Let's just think for a moment about the movie The Matrix, right? It proposes that there's another reality going on, and in many senses there is, because if you are in the SS, then when you go out and about, you have a totally different agenda than somebody like myself. If I go out to the grocery store, I'm going there to go shopping for, bread, milk, whatever, right? When somebody from the SS goes shopping, I don't even know if they're shopping because they want to or if they're just being told to go shopping. Because, like, a lot of what I'm witnessing, well, I don't want to speculate too much, but, like, my point is this, is that while they're out shopping, while they're at Walmart, they will stalk and harass people who are targeted. And this flows through the education system. This happens in every business, from what I can tell. There are the people who are in the SS, or there are people who are under the wing of people in the SS at the job. You know what I'm saying? And then there's people who are not, and there's usually not that many people who are not. I'm always one of the people who are not. So, like, anyways, let's think about the Matrix. Let's think about Harry Potter, right? Think about Harry Potter and the whole Diagon Alley thing, where they're like walking along and it's normal, and then flip, 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 they hit a button and they're in a different reality. They're in the magic world, right? Where everything's magic. Well, that's like an analogy for people when they're going underground in these elevators, or quote unquote portals is what they like to call them. And again, I'm going to say this again. If it weren't for the people that I call my parents, Nora and Bob, which get this, my mother's middle name is Joyce. Her name is Nora Joyce. No Rejoice. That's my mother's Nora Joyce. That's my mother's name. Nora Joyce. That's not her last name. That's her first and middle name. No Rejoice. Nora Joyce. And my father's is Robert, or Rob Earth, all in. Allen. Robert Allen, or Rob Earth all in, depending on how you read it or how you say it. Do you see? I don't know what got me on that. Oh, so these people, they raised me on the Lord of the Rings. Like, they read me those books, The Hobbit. They read me Lord of the Rings incessantly. And they also read me the C.S. Lewis Narnia books a lot when I was very young, right? And they used, check this out, you guys. This is very interesting, okay? Because, like, I was raised on Star Wars. In many respects, these characters, I'm being completely serious when I say this, these characters are like, have been more of a friend to me than any of the actual people that I've ever met. I don't believe I've ever had an actual real friend in my entire life, somebody that I just organically met and became friends with. I don't think that that's ever actually happened, except for maybe in like the first and second grade. I think that's the only time that that's ever happened with me. Seriously. And then I got yanked out of public school. You guys, in the second grade. and got homeschooled up until, and then they just threw me into high school. And they even dressed me up as a table with my head as the centerpiece and had me go around trick-or-treating in Gainesville before I went into high school. Because they're serving me up. They're serving me up to society. And I don't know how many other people they've done this to, but I promise you, I'm not the only one. So as far as the movies go, right? This is very interesting. I had a Laserdisc player in my house growing up in the 80s. I had a Laserdisc player in my house growing up in the 80s. It was like they had just came out. They were the size of records, literally. They were literally the size of records. And there were these big, huge Laserdiscs. And there was two different kinds that you could get. One of them was like in a case, and you would slide it into this machine, and you'd pull the lever down, and then you'd pull the case out, and the Laserdisc would be inside there. That was the kind that we had, and it was a total mystery to me, because I was very young. Then the other kind that they made, you actually pulled out a big, huge disc, and it was a big Laserdisc, like a CD, but it was a huge one, a huge, huge CD, basically. And you plopped it in, and you could watch your movies. Well, check this out, you guys. We didn't have the first Star Wars movie. We only had Empire Strikes Back, which played for the most part perfectly. There were some skips towards the end, I want to say, but I'm not sure. And then we had Return of the Jedi. That was the one I watched the most. That was the one that I was like brainwashed with the most, or psychological. Or I don't even know I don't know the full extent what they're doing with these movies. But the Disney movies, the Star Wars movies, they're using them to like psychologically condition their children. That's what was done to me anyways. That's what happened with me. But this is my point, and this is what I'm getting at with the whole movie thing and the laser disc talk. Star Wars skipped in certain parts and didn't play certain parts. So there's certain parts of these movies that were edited out. I believe, okay, so at the time I just thought, oh, there's a scratch on the disc, ho hum. But now with everything that I know, oh, I believe me, believe me, those scratches or whatever were done intentionally, which for me begs the question, like, who had access to the technology to actually make individual spots of a laser disc skip and or it miss spots to just exactly right. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how did they F it up just right to where it would skip a spot but keep playing? Do you see what I'm saying? Because this is a long time ago, like a disc read error, obviously you guys, they're using technology that was like cutting edge, but they're making it all kind of clunky and stuff so that people wouldn't want it, I guess. It's weird how they introduced this stuff. But I'm telling you, Thomas Edison, right? Okay, I'm in Florida, right? Thomas Edison is connected to this stuff. I'll say it again. Thomas Edison is connected to this stuff. It's been theorized on ancient astronauts, right, that he had some connection with extraterrestrial beings. No. Based on the hard evidence that I have, Thomas Edison, 110% is a tunnel person. He's a mole person, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, I use the word mole person jokingly. I'm gonna put a sign on my car that says "I brake for mole people." Because look, I love all people, and that's what everybody needs to know about me. Because everybody's so sick, because everybody's so filled with hate, because there's so much just murderous sarcasm and black comedy out there now. It's difficult for people to actually listen to somebody like me and believe that because all the people that and believe that I'm good and that I'm a good person, because all the people that we are getting our info from, all the people that we are looking up to, that we think are admirable, that like presidents, these generals and police officers and stuff like that. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, you guys, but these people are the ones that are doing the dirty. These people are the ones that are doing the dirty. And it's all about infants. I'm serious, it's all about infants and babies. I can show you guys the proof, and I am going to in time. If anybody wants to come down to Florida, I'll show you the whole kit and caboodle right now. But I'm not like, this isn't on some kind of schedule or anything like that. It's just that like I am 110%, I'm still being shadow banned and limited, right? So like nobody is seeing my content except for a select few people. So I need to find a way to break through that barrier, to break through the censorship barrier. And once that happens, once I have an organic uptick in numbers, right? And I can tell that I'm getting through to some people and they're sharing and they're like, oh crap, right? Once people start puking on their keyboards, once people, I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. Once churches start toppling and falling apart, or declaring full blown that like, oh no, we're worshiping the snake, and we have been this whole time, MFers. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be either one or the other for a lot of these churches, you guys. It's going to be one or the other. They're either going to fall down or they're going to like go the other route, which is to be like, oh no, like, like, you know, we were never worshiping God. Do you see what I'm saying? Like we were always like doing some weird. Or I don't know. I don't know what they'll say, but like some of these, it's just irrefutable stuff, and these conversations are just so damning that you can have with any of these people. All you have to do is this. Let me tell you all you have to do. If you're worried about your church or your pastor, all you have to do is start talking to him about the room, the holiest of holies. That's all you have to do. Just mention the holiest of holies, because that is where, okay, so these homes are being constructed with a holiest of holies in them, just like the churches, right? And the holiest of holies is a room that they are using for doing the R word to children and things like that. And, or it's like a portal location. I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm just as curious as you guys are. It's not like I'm down underneath the earth filming this and like I'm gaslighting everybody and I really know the truth and I'm just letting things out bit by bit. No, this has been a journey of you know, slow fact finding. This has been a slow fact finding mission for me. And like I said in yesterday's episode, every single step of the way, every single person, 100% of the people that I have gone to, well, 99.9% of the people that I have gone to for help have like just totally done nothing but thrown monkey wrenches into the works. You know what I'm saying? Thrown and like gummed up the works. Put salt and, you know, put sugar in the gas tank. Like sometimes literally, I believe. You know what I mean? I don't know why I chose movies and books as the topic. The topic is always going to be, you know, me trying to discover what happened to myself in my life. And therefore, we're going to be talking about the PED stuff. We're going to be talking about churches. We're going to be talking about the military. And we're going to be talking about these whatever's going on down underneath the ground. You can go drive around Daytona and you can see where people are putting on display out in front of their houses these huge rocks that they have gotten from, and they have these holes in them. And some of them have big holes, some of them have little smaller holes, but they're machine drilled holes, and they're in these rocks, and they're probably over on the west coast of Florida as well. So if you're in Florida, you can like drive around in any, you know, beach town and see these things. Those are drilling holes. And now those are really old ones. Now the drills that they're using are much bigger. They're using much bigger ones, ones that would drill out like I'm trying to think, like real big, like about the size of, you know, about what I'm doing. You guys don't know how big I am. I'm a pretty big guy, you know, but about the size, half the size of a queen size bed or something like that. I don't know, but pretty big. These older ones though, and I'm telling you, you can see these in Florida. Drive around. If you don't believe me, go drive around in any beach town, okay, and you'll see them. They have these big rocks out front of houses, and they'll have these holes in them. Some of them, and the holes are like, go take a really close look at them. Guess what that's from, you guys? Those are machine drilled. And like, maybe somebody say, oh, well, that's when they drilled the septic tank or something. And then just remind them that they're on city water. You know what I mean? Like that's how this stuff goes. I'm serious. And go look at the side of the house. They'll probably have all their electrical boxes will be running down into the ground instead of up. If you're having the electricity come in from the power lines, right? The electricity is coming in through these rubber wires, right? You don't want them underneath the ground, exposed to all that dirt and moisture, especially. It's the moisture you especially don't want to expose to. So why on earth would you have wires come into your home, have them come into a box, and then, yeah, let's put them down into the ground. Let's send them down underneath the ground. Let's put them down in the dirt. Why? Why? That doesn't make any sense at all. If anything, you keep them at the same level or put them up into the attic, all the wires up into the attic. If anything, the higher the better. I don't know construction that well, but I do know this. I'm seeing both. And the ones where I'm seeing the tubes going down, those are also some of the houses that have these huge pieces of rocks with the big holes in them. Go see for yourself, man. Go see for yourself. So once you start thinking in concepts and not words, you'll be on the right track, because you can go through all the TV shows and all the movies that you've ever seen in a few minutes if you really try hard, and you'll see that everything you're watching, and look at everything you're watching now, everything at one point or another points towards the fact that we are on a round Earth in space. And look, I believe that the Earth is round, and I believe that we are in space, because that's what I've been told, and like that's what has been engraved in me. But there's a lot of evidence pointing towards the fact that we're being lied to about possibly the shape of it, for starters. And we're definitely being lied to about what's going on underneath us. They really, really want us to think that magic is real. That's like a big part of this. That's a whole big part of all the movies, especially the whole Disney thing. And they're pushing. I'm in Florida, right? So I actually hear commercials on the radio all the time for Disney. And that's one word that they're pushing really hard right now through Disney, is the whole magic. Yeah, it's magic. It's magic. Which is why, like I said yesterday, I'm starting to think, because some of my like experiences not remembering things, this is something they all surround, a lot of these things surround amusement parks, is what I'm saying. Here's another one for you. There's one time where I was super sick, you guys. And if you've been watching my show, you know that I believe they were giving me viruses at my house. That's one of the reasons I was homeschooled. That's one of the reasons we had a huge ventilation fan at the end of our hallway that could have vented out a warehouse, and it was in our small little 3-bedroom house. I mean, this attic fan was huge, you guys. It was huge. I was sick as a dog, and like my parents still let me go with the youth group with my church to Busch Gardens, of all places, in the middle of summer. I mean, it was packed. And I'm like walking around there sick as a dog. I mean, I got everybody sick. Everybody at church got sick. So think about all these all these foreigners and stuff coming in, and they're tourists or on vacation. Do you see? And I was in middle school, and I remember thinking that I should have stayed home, but like they let me just go, and I really wanted to go too. But in hindsight's 2020, I believe they gave me whatever I had. And being an adult, I don't get sick at all like I used to when I was a kid. Man, I used to get so sick, you guys. I used to get so sick. There was this one time that my mom and I both had the same thing, or at least that's what they told me anyways. And I believed it. Why shouldn't I, right? Now saying it, I realize, oh crap, that probably wasn't true either. But I don't know. I think it was actually. She was feeling pretty crappy. It'd be hard for your kids to just keep getting sick and you not. But anyways, she came into my bedroom one night, and I was like, what should I do? What should I do? I felt horrible. I mean, I just felt so sick, you guys. And I had been sick for days and days. It started out with throwing up and diarrhea, and then it turned into like this horrible cold sort of thing, but it was like the throwing up, and then it was just it was just fever, everything, right? And I mean, like now that I'm thinking about it, like this is not normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get sick like this. I don't get sick like this as an adult. I haven't, except for like one time when I was working at the University of Florida, but it's another story for another day. But anyways, all this amusement park stuff, you guys, like, look, you're a kid. You go to an amusement park. You get hung upside down on all these rides, blah, blah, blah. It wears you out, and you also get all bumped up and bruised up on your body. Do you see where this is going? And so I don't know if, like, they might take you to an amusement park, you ride all these rides, then that night they take you away for like 6 months. You wake up the next morning and you think that you just woke up from being at the amusement park the night before, and your body's all sore and you're tired, and you drive home and you kind of sleep it off. You don't really think anything about it. It it must be absolutely fascinating. I mean, it has to be absolutely fascinating to see what the human body and the human brain will overcome if it doesn't even know an obstacle's in its place. Do you see what I'm saying? Or like how much it will adapt to something. Like all these things about, superheroes being, or these people, regular people, they get exposed to radiation and then they become superheroes. It's a sped up, like, probably version of the reality. The reality of it is that, maybe getting exposed in micro doses builds up an immunity to it. And then if you reproduce a child, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm really healthy and I'm really smart, and I've been exposed to the upper air, like the Earth's crust, where like everything is like they have all the poison floating around, right? Um, you know, you guys, I'm sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought because, and this is worth mentioning, you guys, because this is what I lost my train of thought thinking about. I think that I might have a couple children running around out there. I think I do. I think that I do. I think I might have at least one or two. Um, there was this time. It's so funny, and it was in. Not, oh my god, I'm like thinking about this right now. It was in the span of a week, too, you guys. Oh no, this is in the span of a couple days, you guys. Okay, I slept. It's gonna get a little graphic, right? I slept with an ex-girlfriend of mine in this whole big setup thing wherein she made me believe that her and her husband wanted me to sleep with her, but then it was like a lie. But it was all meant to like stress me out and upset me. And it was them trolling me and messing with me. I know this now, right? Like they were both in on it, I believe now. But something that did happen during those like 2 or 3 days was I did sleep with her without protection, and she was telling me that she wanted to have a baby. And then like a couple days after that, I was in Bradenton, Florida, and I was waiting to see if I could meet a friend or meet up with somebody who I had met or something. And I was in my car, my Subaru Outback, and this girl came riding up on a bicycle, and we hit it off, and we ended up going to a swimming pool together like a couple hours later, and we ended up hooking up. Now, that being said, you guys, I've never done anything like that before. Like, I've never ever met a girl and then slept with her, like, boom, a couple hours later. That was the first time I'd ever done something like that. But like, based on, and look, who knows? There's a very, very good chance, you guys. There is a very good chance. There is a very good chance that I have one or two, maybe 3 or 4 kids running around. There's a very, very good chance. And from what I've seen from all these little like weird passing like canals and holes that they have in hotel rooms and stuff, where you can like it's almost, you can like pretty much reach a hand through into the other room, but that's about it. That's all you could really get into the other room, or the other room could get into your room, is about a hand or a finger or two. Or you could very easily pass something through there, right? I always assumed, oh, it's just for people who are selling drugs, right? You know what I mean? Like you get your stash from one room and you have people, it's very simple. But also it could be used for passing body fluids over, DNA type stuff. And if they're doing all this experimentation on me, and if they have all this stuff documented about like where my DNA has been at different points in my life, then that would explain why I have experiences like what just happened a couple weeks ago at Advent Health in Flagler County, where they were like, no, we're not giving COVID tests anymore, but come on in, we'll admit you to the hospital. And I was like, no, I don't want to be admitted. And they're like, no, we won't admit you. And then I said like 5 or 6 times, you guys, I feel like you're getting ready to admit me, but you're like gaslighting me and telling me that you're not. And they're like, everything's all good. Like, you're okay, everything's fine. I'm like, I know I'm okay. Like, I don't want to get a bill for like $2,000 for like a COVID test. Like, you guys, Advent Health full-blown admitted me to the hospital, had me sign the thing for documentation. I was like, yo, man, I'm not paying any of this. Like, what are you guys doing? They were just trying to get samples of my DNA and stuff. And I haven't heard a word from them since. I haven't heard a word about bills or anything from them. I don't think they're going to charge me anything. I need to start charging them. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I should be getting paid like probably like $5,000 every time I go get a COVID test, because I'm like 99%. Oh man, I said the C word. Crap. All right. All of a sudden, we're not talking about COVID anymore. I can't believe I said the C word. On another topic not related to COVID, right? When they're testing you for these viruses, right? Like these other viruses, and they're putting something up in your nose, I think that there's something getting stuck up in your nose. We're not talking about COVID. This is not about COVID. I'm serious. When they're testing you and they're putting something up your nose, I think there's something getting stuck up in there. They're putting something up in there, I believe. I think. Because I felt, both times I got tested, you guys have felt something up in there like a week or two later, and it's like I gotta blow it out. It feels like it's moving in there and stuff. I swear to you. It feels like I have like a little bug up in there. What is that about? Again, not talking about COVID. Oh, man. So, all right. Yeah, magic is real. The earth is round. The people selling this stuff, they don't believe it. And that's one of the reasons that I've been able to get to the bottom of all this crap, is because of the disingenuousness of the people who have been messing with me. It's because I've actually started picking the brain and messing with the people back who've been effing with me. And it's because they haven't stopped messing with me. That's why I've been able to figure this out. And that's why I had a desire to figure this out. It's because they wouldn't stop poking me. And then Rob Earth, when he got me this, okay, he told me that he was going to help me, right? This is my father, right? The person I call my father. He's like, oh no, I'm going to help you this time. I'm like, because my dad's never, ever once in my entire life, I'm trying to cry talking about this. My dad has never once in my entire life stepped in and been like, here you go, let me do this for you. Here you go, I got you, son. No, nothing like that. He's never given me a father-son talk about anything. I don't even know if he was a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have been, like, they might have, like, swip-swapped or something like that. These people are so sick, I wouldn't put it past them. But, I lost my train of thought. Definitely lost my train of thought talking about that garbage. But, I was just talking about my dad. He never, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so the people selling this stuff, they don't believe it. The people selling this stuff don't believe it. Oh, that's what I was going to say. If the person that I call my father, if he hadn't pretended to help me and bought me a car and then sabotaged the vehicle for it to break down so it would be literally dangerous for me to drive, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about all this stuff. I wouldn't. I'd be talking about like the girl I dated who was like some kind of Illuminati like SEX slave or something, which is worth mentioning, and we'll talk about that. But like, my point is this, is that at any point, the pastor of my church could have teamed up with some of the local sheriffs, FBI, whomever. My parents could have done the same thing, and we could have directed our attention towards this couple that had targeted me. And we could have directed our attention towards this device that was installed in my Mustang. And they could have compartmentalized the whole problem and made it look like it was just a lone wolf or like two sickos. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because when they're together, I call them Mathy. Cat and Mathy together. M-A-T. I call it Mathy. So it could have just all been directed at Mathy. Cat and Mathy. I mean, Cat and Matt. Kathy and Matt. Mathy. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a time I was just all focused on them. And my whole life I've been trying to figure out, because it's like in my subconscious knew that I got F'd in the A. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, literally. Like, I literally got F'd in the A. And like, my subconscious doesn't trust men and is scared of men. And my whole life I've been trying to figure all this stuff out. And my parents have been the ones that even put... You think that the world owes you somebody, that the world owes you something, that somebody did you wrong or something. And it was funny because they said that, because I didn't actually think that. And yet here was my mother telling me that, oh yeah, Josh, you think the world's done you wrong, and And I was like, why did they push that on me? And it's taken me 25 years to figure all this stuff out. It's taken me 25 years to figure out why, because I don't know what they did to make me forget, you guys, but I waited 2 weeks. I noticed that there was a problem with my beehole when I was in like middle school, right? And it was embarrassing for me, as it would be anybody who's in middle school. And I waited for the problem to go away, and it didn't. And then I waited. And I remember I waited 2 weeks. I waited 2 weeks to talk to my mother about my butt, right? And when I talked to her about it, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what she said, and I don't remember what happened after that. But they had to have done something to make me forget about that, because I have forgotten about it until just recently. And I'm like, oh, I remember not wanting to talk to her about that. And then I remember talking to her about it, but I don't remember what her response was. It was probably just like real, just, oh, don't talk about that, blah, 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 and just shush me, and just put me off like it was no big deal. But then there was probably like a real deal conversation that took place, like, there's a problem. And I don't know if like that's when I was like, you know, you guys, they may have tried to wipe my memory of that experience. Do you see what I'm saying? Of me even talking to her about it, because it wasn't until just recently that I remembered that. But I remembered I waited 2 weeks to talk to my mother about a problem that I have with my body. A problem that any parent would freak out if their kid told them about, and alarms would immediately go off, and they would say, oh no, I think somebody's gotten to my kid. I think the R word may have happened here. Oh, she knew. She knew all about it. She knew exactly all about it. That's the sick thing about this, you guys, is that it's the parents that are involved in it. These kids that are doing these school shootings and stuff like that, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that the parents aren't involved with the gaslighting and driving them insane. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. All right, let's go over the tracks real quick, and then I'm probably going to bounce. We got some good ones here. In the main room, we've got Sasha, the remixes, and we got a lot of tracks on here. But this is a double vinyl. This is a very valuable vinyl. Let me see what kind of shape this is in. Oh, you can just tell from the... Oh, this is in beautiful, beautiful shape. Good, very good condition. I mean, this double vinyl right here will probably sell for somewhere between... like 40 to like $70 on the internet. And I need to start selling these. And then we have another one, very cool record here. This is DJ Icy before he changed his name to ICEY. He got approached by Icy the drink and was told to change his name, because like they would do flyers and put like the drink on there and be like DJ Icy and stuff. So, and it was like a whole branding thing. And that was like a lot of what the rave scene was about, was taking brands that people were aware of and that were popular that people were wearing, and like tweaking them a little bit and stuff. Anyway, so that's about it, you guys. Thanks for watching the show. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I want you guys to think about the whole idea of thinking in concepts and not words, because again, that's what they want you doing. Like, period. That is what they want you doing. You know, I need you guys to share my content. I really need you to share my content. If each one of you shares my content with 3 or 4 people, I'll be doing great. All right, you guys, peace out.